Man, let's take a trip back in time, way back like 10, 15 years ago. Who was running for office? It was Obama, Hillary Clinton, and man, I can't remember the other guy's name. It wasn't Mitch McConnell. No, not Mitch McConnell. It wasn't Mitt Romney. This guy passed away. Um, but what was America ready for? The old white guy Republican, a woman, Hillary Clinton, or Obama? So it was Obama. Obama was smooth. Obama was real smooth in his talk. Had a lot of class. He was real slick. And I don't know if anyone remembers, but there was a surveillance program that came out during the Obama administration called PRISM through the NSA. You're supposed to be watching people's internet activity. But over the past 10, 15 years, with all the shootings, remember the nightclub shooting, was it in Florida and Orlando? There was all these shootings, these mass shootings. And it turns out the shooter was always on like the FBI list. But the FBI never picked these people up. So why are they even like having this PRISM surveillance program if they can't technically do nothing, I guess, since if the shooter hadn't committed a crime, you know. But till he commits the crime, then they can pick him up. But it sucks how our rights and freedom get eroded away, like on 9/11 with the Patriot Act. Been on plenty of airplanes, and it sucks going through TSA. TSA are the biggest bunches of assholes that you can ever meet. Going through the airport security, you gotta take your belt off, your shoes off, take your laptop out, put them in the bins. They gotta scan them. They'll scan your body, see if you got like drugs in your intestines, in your stomach, or like just taped to you under your clothes if you got money and guns or whatever taped to you, drug stuff taped to you, illegal stuff taped to you under your clothes. So you got capitalism versus communism. You got Christianity versus Islam, and you got red pill versus blue pill, right? So, an older war, there's the capitalism versus communism. That's a war going on, but there's the older war of Christianity versus Islam. If you're watching this, you should go look at what Malcolm X said about white liberals. It was very eye-opening what he said. And who was Malcolm X? Malcolm X was a man who was part of the Nation of Islam, and he was assassinated by members of his own party. You could say that that Farrakhan had him killed because after Malcolm X went to Mecca and he seen all races worshiping Islam together, he came back and changed his story. It changed him. He wasn't preaching racism anymore. But the Nation of Islam, Farrakhan, they need that racism. That's why they keep pushing that stuff. And so he was assassinated. It was like 3 or 4 guys. I was like looking into it. They're all like out of prison now. They spent about a good like 30, 40 years in prison. Some of them were like released from prisons, saying that it was like they were falsely imprisoned. One guy admitted to it, but he didn't rat anybody out, seems like. And if you remember, way back in the day when Obama was in office, Obama was part of the Muslim Brotherhood, allegedly. And what do communists do? Well, you don't remember all the shootings? All the police getting shot? The snipers shooting at police? Gotta think back real hard. I mean, some people might have only been like 10 years old when that stuff was happening. Now they're maybe 20 years old, 10 years later. They don't remember all the shit that the left has done. All the shit. How they were the ones like all about this cancel culture. Remember that kid Nick Sandman? He was standing somewhere in DC, just standing there with his red hat on, his red MAGA hat. And some Native American dude came up to him and was like, just got all up in his face. And then they canceled the kid. He was like a 16-year-old kid. He was just standing there with a red hat on. And they canceled him. And eventually, I think he sued CNN. And now, like years later, this stuff is all like, the domino effect is all coming back. So much stuff that has happened over the years. That's what communists do. They do that in other countries. The socialists bring in the ideas. They're the soft ones. They bring in the ideas, all these stupid ideas. The pronouns, against the patriarchy, the feminism, the militant feminists, all these dumb ideas. And then the communists come in. They make it soften up so the gangsters, the real gangsters can come in. And then they just push them out the way. They push the socialists out the way. Because look at the guys right now talking about revolution. They ain't revolutionaries. They're not hardcore. They ain't busting no grapes. They wouldn't hurt a fly. Like they're keyboard warriors online. You turn off this TV, turn off this internet, turn off this phone right now, all this stuff goes away. And then what do you got? You got the real world, right? Well, in the real world, if I'm stronger than you, faster than you, and smarter than you, we ain't equal. So how am I equal to a woman? Or how's a woman equal to me? The only thing that makes us equal is the belief in God and our Constitution, right? That's what we believe in. And it's right. I think that I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I don't try to look at other people. I don't enjoy when people get shot. I don't enjoy when people get hurt. I don't even like watching videos of people falling down, getting hurt on their skateboards, on their bicycles. I'll clench up like, oh man, that looked like it hurt. Seeing all this violence on the internet, on TV. There's so much stuff that is like just gone on and gone on. It's happened in other countries. It's happened in plenty of other countries. You got like the countries in South America. You got Bolivia. You got Chile. You got Argentina. You got Peru. You got Venezuela. You got Colombia. What happened to the revolutionaries? For all the gangsters, all the American gangsters, the young kids, the YNs that might hopefully be watching this. It's a real small, tiny channel. Right now, I just did this so I could learn to speak a little better because I don't speak a lot. But let's go back to what happened in South America in the 90s. Some knowledge, some history that you probably won't learn anywhere. But you had the Shining Path guerrillas in Peru. These were real revolutionaries, like communist revolutionaries. But what happened? What was the reality of the revolution? The revolution needs funding, right? They need money. It ain't all just about like just guns and we're shooting at the cops. Or, it's all about teaching and strategizing and becoming literate. Learning how things work. But like at the end of the day, you gotta eat, sleep, you clothe yourself, you need shelter. And then what they need money for like military stuff, right? So how did they get the money for that? Well, they had to start enslaving the Native Americans to sell cocaine, to grow and sell cocaine. The coca plant. That's what corrupted the whole revolution back in the 90s or before that. To me, that's what I think. Corrupted everything. Then they started making money. Yeah, they had some ideas. Yeah, like no country's perfect. These republics are not perfect. But that's life. We live in a fallen world. The world's not perfect. We're not perfect. Everyone is flawed. The world is flawed. We live in a fallen state simulation theory. Yeah, we live in the devil's simulation. Adam and Eve, when they took the fruit from the tree of knowledge, life and death. We live in a fallen state. The devil tricked us into it. So these communist revolutionaries, the Shining Path guerrillas, if you're enslaving your own people, making them grow, manufacture cocaine, and you're selling it to other people, then it's getting sold to America. America is the biggest buyer of these drugs and stuff. All these kids out here, man, you could get, right now where I live, you can probably get some powder, some white girl, easier than you get like some weed, some tweed, some devil's lettuce. Boom. Then you go think about in Colombia, the FARC. Those communists, the ones that were the revolutionaries, they had to do the same thing. Enslaving people and then selling the drugs to other people, creating addicts. Enslaving people in the mountains. And this is happening in Bolivia. In Bolivia, who did we have in Bolivia? We had Evo Morales. Evo Morales was a communist, first Native American indigenous president in like 500 years, which was great. But like, what did they really talk about? What did they really preach? He became a dictator. He was kicked out. They finally kicked him out. They finally kicked the communists out of Bolivia. He was gone. He was exiled for like, I don't know how long. It wasn't that long, and then he got back. Just like in Brazil. Was it Lula? He was left wing. He went to prison. Then a right-wing president took over. The crime was off the chain in Brazil. They made it to where like people could like start shooting some delinquents and stuff. Lula eventually got out of prison. I think he got back into the presidency. That was crazy. It really didn't stick. Like, it's been teeter-totting. It's been teeter-totting all this time, the past 15 years, past 20 years, 15, 20 years. Right now in Chile, they got a socialist president. He's like 34 years old. Just to put all this stuff into context too, I'm about 17 years older than Charlie Kirk. That put stuff into context. I'm like about 17 years older than him since the day he passed away. I've been around for a while. So you got the Lula, you got things happening in Brazil, the Chilean president now. He's like 34. He's a goofball. But they had a whole like revolution thing like going on a couple years ago during COVID, right before COVID hit. It all went down. It was like a hike price, like a 10-cent hike price on like on the fare to take the metro in Santiago, and the students. There was a lot of like talk of like how it was kind of planned out through people from other countries, like say like the FARC, like some of them, because then some of those guerrillas have allegedly infiltrated, or I don't know, infiltrated, but now they're working with the Mapuche Indians in the south of Chile, giving them guns, shooting police. It's the same thing that happened in '73. Not the same thing. '73 was like with the when Allende, the dictator of, no, not the dictator, the socialist president of Chile, got overthrown by Pinochet and became a dictator. He was the general of the army. He became a dictator. But depends on who you talk to. Like if you talk to some people in Chile, like the revolution's always, in South America, it's always romanticized. Even here, people want to be like, yeah, F the cops, F the cops. You know, capitalism. Man, capitalism ain't perfect. No one's saying it is. There's all this crony capitalism. You see how like these people, these elites, people that are over the government. I had to write this paper one time for this class I was taking on organized crime. 2008, when the housing bubble burst, none of these people went to jail. None of them went to prison. None of them got charged with anything. All these people at Wall Street, No one went to jail. They're above the government. They are the ones in control of the government. These corporations, these mega corporations. It's pretty wild. We're down here on the surface. We're pawns in a game. Pretty much pawns in a game. Of course, they love us to fight. All these kids right now, the ones that are burning stuff, like they're not rioting right now, but instead of these kids rioting or looting, should organize into like a business. But will that ever happen? Are the elites really throwing our futures away? You know, it happens in other countries. The futures were sold, and so people rebelled, and no one's really giving anyone like a clear path to how to make a living. Everyone's got to live. We got to eat, pay our bills daily, get some food, cook something to eat, take a shower, have a decent life. I mean, there's just so much stuff that has been going on, man, that has happened over all these years. So back then, when Pinochet took over, I mean, people voted for the socialism because they thought they were going to get something for free. They thought that they were going to be able, everyone became ownership of, like, say, a company. Everyone was the owner. Then no one wanted to work. And these are like stories I have from my family. Say like, yeah, then no one was working. Everyone just sat down smoking cigarettes and drinking coffee because they're all the owners now. No one wanted to work. The trash wasn't get picked up. And people could say like the CIA and all this stuff. But there's declassified stuff. That's great. Go look at it. But then like, depends on who you talk to. Like the revolution's romanticized. That's definitely. There's all those pictures of the people missing. About 3,000 of them, 4,000 of them, and it's tragic. The people that got exiled, they got put on planes. They got free trips to like Europe, France, Europe, wherever they wanted to go. All the communists got to leave. During that dictatorship, it was peaceful. I've been there. It was peaceful. There was no crime. Nothing. Then the dictator Pinochet finally gave over the government back to the people, back to democracy, back to the democratic rule and all that stuff, the good stuff, like people could vote. And ever since, for the past 30 years, it was the socialist dictators the Socialist Democratic Party that was in charge, that had been winning every single time. And in those 30 years, everything went to crap. From all downhill went to crap. All these socialist programs. I call it trickle up poverty, because what do communists do? Man, they're way more strategic, man, than you really think. It's all subterfuge. What they do is they take the ghettos from the big cities, they import them to other towns, and they make they call them poblaciones, little neighborhoods. You can buy a house for like $500. They import I'm talking about like, sorry I gotta say it, but I'm talking about like real like low class citizens. I'm talking about the people from the ghetto. We're gonna get into that too. Boom. Now you got a whole like neighborhood full of like ghetto, and it brings the crime. That's what I'm saying. It brings the crime. Now that crime starts spreading. And what do? They sell drugs to your kids. They turn your kids against you because it's popular to be ghetto. Now let's talk about fatigue, minority fatigue, for a real quick second. I'll call it just like ghetto fatigue. It ain't a race. Think about it like this. You go to any country in the world, go to one where it's not mixed like it is here in the United States. Here we got everybody. We're a big melting pot, a mixing pot. Different races and everybody. Religions is cool. But go somewhere where there's just one race of people, say they're just all white, like Russia or something. You're gonna have people that like follow the law. You're gonna have like conservatives, liberals, but you're gonna have like a portion of the population that's just ghetto. There's always gonna be a portion of the population that does not care about nothing. There's just people that just like to rob and steal. And it's like a generation thing too, from what I've seen. They love talking the way they talk. They have a certain way of talking, a certain way of dressing. They have their own culture, and they're against like the elites. They're against the working class citizens. They're against everybody. They just got like this pirate mentality. They just thrive in it. They love it. There's nothing you can do to like give them class, I guess you could say, because you could, and but like think about it like this: even people that are elite, people that are raised in like $1 million homes, go to these, they can be kind of ghetto too. Even them don't have, doesn't mean that just automatically doesn't give you class because you was like born like just rich. Some of them people, they get, people fall away, man. Like, okay, look at the shooter, this Taylor Robinson guy. People trying to say, oh, he was born in this, like say a Christian household, Utah white dude. They say he's Christian, he's Mormon. Are Mormons even Christian? You know, because they believe in a lot of stuff that isn't biblical. Like they believe, I mean, man, there's a whole laundry list of stuff that they believe. So I don't know. But the thing is, when it's really hardcore like that, especially in a place like Utah, you're gonna have people rebelling against that culture, against the church. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. So I mean, people could change. Like the kid, like I prayed for him. I prayed for him. I hope he finds the real Christ while he's in prison, before he gets a death penalty, if he gets it. Mormons, yeah. Now there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff that people have forgotten over these past 15 years. Things that happened. Now we could talk about all the immigrants that were brought up here over the past 10 years. Who brought them up? Who brought them over here? You don't remember the Democrats doing that? There's Democrats in other countries. There was Democrats in Mexico, Guatemala, all in Central America. Mexico is part of North America. Central America, they got Panama, Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras. Then you got like South American stuff, man. Democrats were helping. Democrats in other countries were busing them up, all the way up. From here to there, they were organized. Then you got AOC saying like, yeah, we got concentration camps on the border. Remember they had all them people like in those camps where like MS-13 was recruiting. It was a recruiting station. All subterfuge. Everything's just a smoke screen for something else. What was that train called? The Beast? People were getting on this train and getting on the top of the train and going up through Mexico, falling off the train, getting themselves killed, the legs cut off. Man, the whole war on the border between the cartels, the bloody war, all the cartels, man, just killing each other, all satanic, man. They are all satanic. MS-13, they are satanic. Satanic. Talking about the kind of people that have done so much evil in their lives. Oh my goodness. They would chop you up. I mean, they're straight from like the straight pagan. Don't remember like AOC over there crying like, we got concentration camps. And they still say, yeah, come over here. Why would AOC say, yeah, we got concentration camps over here, come over here? Don't make no sense. Nah, because they weren't really concentration camps. It might have sucked. I'm sure it sucked. Sure, it was horrible conditions. But they were saying, like, come up here, come up here. It was open season, come up here. Finally, like, Kamala Harris said, like, no, don't come up here. But, like, the border was wide open. And then everyone's like, you fighting against it. It boils down to this. For the past 15 years, the Democrats have been defunding the police. They want, you gotta think about it. This is strategy. This is strategy. Who's been lobbying? You got the Israelis lobbying. You got the Muslim Brotherhood lobbying. Our government have been doing this for like the past 60 years. Been lobbying us. The Persians made, somebody told me all this one time. I didn't believe them. And this is what red pilled me, man. It's like, man, the Persians are the ones that created chess. There is 3 more generations of jihadis that are gonna come over here. Right now, what are we doing? We're making ourselves weak. They're just buying time. All this gender ID politics that Obama implemented. Don't remember Common Core math? They broke people's brains. They broke these kids' brains with this Common Core math. That was a long time ago, man. Like, the education system is crap. I know I'm jumping from point to point like real bad over here because there's just so much stuff. You could never talk about this. I'm talking about 2016. You couldn't talk about this stuff. You couldn't talk about like red pill stuff. You couldn't talk about like MAGA. MAGA wasn't even a thing before Donald Trump was even elected. You couldn't talk about that stuff. You don't remember how like it was a whole thing with the cameras and the minorities or whoever, the leftists provoking people. They would poke you and poke you and poke you. And then when you finally blow up and like say, hey man, get out of here. You're kicked out of this library or whatever. Then they would film you. Oh, you're filming me? They would film that one part and they would put that one part on the internet and say, oh, look, see, she's racist. They do that to justify killing, legal killing. That was going on for years and years, going on college campuses, stepping on American flags, provoking the conservatives. The filming, all the filming. You don't remember that? You guys don't remember that? Y'all don't remember that? I remember that. Remember all the police that got shot? Even the police during like the riots and over the past couple years? Of all colors? Police are just doing their job. It's a job. It's not like there's some kind of sentinel entity, like they're demons or like what. It's a job. You got a job. They go, they eat, sleep. They're fallible just like you. They make mistakes. Some of them might be corrupt. Some of them might not be. Every job has people that do their job good and people that don't. It should be funding more. Should get more funding than defunding them. But what's the whole point of like this? What's the whole point of this? Like, so of the whole like defunding the police, defund the police, make the police weak, cause instability in the country, so our enemies see us fighting. Once we start fighting, then we can get attacked. That's what the Democrats want. The Democrats are politically aligned with ISIS. All right, they're the tail end of ISIS. Someone had to say it. And what's messed up is that when the real jihadis get here, you think you're gonna get thanks for the new world? You think you're in the new, what were you promised in this new world? What do the communists, they always talk about this revolution, but they never have what happens after the revolution? After you burn everything down, then what happens? What happens after? They never talk about that. What happens after that? Well, that's when you gotta go to like books like 1984. Why did, when ISIS, remember all the stuff that ISIS did? When they took over, they killed everybody. They lined people up, one bullet, one killed. Why? Because it's economics, man. If you're gonna take a bunch of prisoners, then you gotta pay for that. You gotta feed them. Nah, a bullet, how much does a bullet cost? One bullet to the head, they were pushing men into the river. Who did they kill? They killed all the men. Why do you think all this stuff is going on now? Turning all I've never seen so many transgenders, so many gay people growing up till like it got pushed into like the public mindscape through politics and identity politics, pronouns and all this stuff. Like, you're a man or a woman. That's all it is to it. There was never this many trans ever. I don't know if it's got something to do with like the, or like autistic people. Like, where did all this stuff come from? Is it all the Prozac since 9/11 that people have been pumping? You know, there's so much, people have been taking so much Prozac over the past 25 years that it's in the water, it's in the drinking water. It runs off your body, down the drain, through your shower, into like the water. Where is it all coming? It's the devil working overtime. Devil's working overtime. Yeah, so they want us to destabilize. They want us to not be together. Why? You should ask people why they think this stuff instead of just demonizing people. It's easy to just say, like, you're just brainwashed. But you really got to talk to people and ask them, like, why? Why did you come to the conclusion? I don't know about people being NPCs. I might have said that before, but people are people. Yeah, so they want us to fight. They want us to fight so we can get attacked, cause division over here, pockets over. They lobby our country. They want to rip this country apart. They want to at least split it in two, three pieces. Who knows? You know. All I know is, like, don't be a pawn in the game. Don't be a pawn. Shoot, man. I mean, that's a lot of stuff to talk about. You know, going from all this, the communism to Islam, Christianity. Christianity is a good way to keep the peace for a long time. My story with Christianity is a long one. I used to mock Christians. I had to repent from that. Finally came to Christ about 2 years ago, like for real, after I read the Bible. The reason I read the Bible was because I didn't want to be spiritually abused by other Christians that I knew that were like just always like trying to hammer this stuff. It's like, well, man, let me read this for myself. Because there's spiritual narcissists, people that use it for like for bad reasons, and there's warnings which is funny too, because like if you do read the Bible in the end of the New Testament, there's warnings about saying like of against that. It's a couple warnings. It says like if you find out the truth and you read the scriptures and you find out the truth, and then you kind of turn on it and use it for bad purposes, like, yeah, it says it's not good. So I know, because I was a leftist. Leftist ideology is feminine. It's female. It's emotional. That's why there's always like, all they can really do is every time they see something on the internet or on TV or they're talking to someone, they have to speak out against it. They can't just sit there and be like, and just go their own way, just kind of ignore it. That's kind of all they got. Because it has to be emotional. I'm talking about freedom of speech. I used to work with this guy. Biggest narcissist, sociopath ever. Made the whole workspace toxic. Just this one guy. That's all it took. He would talk about, he thought freedom of speech was saying like he could just say anything. So at work, he would just start talking by himself, to himself, and start announcing, like, talking about hurting other people, like bringing tanks down the roads and like taking people captive and what they would do. Like, he had like this real tribal mentality and he was real explicit with it. I'm not even gonna say what he said, but it was graphic. It was graphic and violent. And he would just start laughing about it. I was like, that's not exactly freedom of speech. That's not what we're talking about here. That's not like, no. And the only reason he got away with that stuff was because the white liberals that owned the company. It was like this young dude. He was younger than me. His parents owned it. He inherited it from them. They could never set this dude straight because he was a minority. I don't know if he was selling them something, selling them drugs or something. Like, they was on his nuts hard. He was very outspoken, but I don't know how many people quit that job just to get away from him. And eventually I quit too, because it was just toxic. The manager had no control. They would bring him in the office. They said that he would get written up all the time, but like the dude would like be chill for one day and go right back to like harassing everybody. Because he was the only one there. It was only like 2 people there that had like that way of thinking. Everyone left alone. We're just trying to work in peace. You know, we're just trying to go to work in peace. Like, I guess you could say like most conservative, right-wing people. You know, so, I mean, I go to other places. I see a lot of stuff online. What happened? Remember, like, Remember Mark Zuckerberg? You don't remember like the bringing old stuff up? Remember how Mark Zuckerberg had to get pulled into like Congress, had to like interrogate him, had to question him, you know, because all the stuff that they were blocking, all the censorship that they were blocking. You don't remember all that stuff? Now like this guy from now the people from what, Twitch are gonna get called in, from Reddit are gonna get called in. And now it sucks, man. I don't like seeing people lose their jobs. I don't even like seeing like how ICE is going around like getting all these like well, first ICE is going after like the criminals and stuff. But it sucks seeing like if it's a real hard working person, even if they are here illegal, it sucks even though they shouldn't be here, but it kind of hurts. It kind of pulls on my heartstring because like I know there's some people that are running from the cartels. I know someone whose son was murdered by the cartels. Their son was a police officer and got murdered by the cartels, and they're here illegally, and I don't want to. They need to apply for asylum, political asylum. Yeah, but you don't remember Mark Zuckerberg? You don't remember like how they stole the election the second time? And there was an article in the Times magazine explaining how they did it. Y'all don't remember that? It was just so, oh my goodness. That's why I started keeping a journal. I didn't keep the journal like this year. I need to write about like the things that have been happening recently. But how easy it is to forget like all this stuff. And then this guy Destiny. You seen Destiny? Talking all that junk. Yo, I don't know. Destiny's like, he's a goofball, man. Come on, man. Who follows that dude? Like, come on, man. Like, people on the right are not that bad. I mean, like, for like this guy Destiny, he's a clown. Man, he's a clown. Come on, man. He wouldn't bust a grape in a fight. He can't fight, man. Like, he ain't gonna be on the front line with y'all. Don't listen to him. Don't follow him. That's what this is all about. You're gonna be a follower or a leader. That's what they want. That's what all these crazy ideologies want. They want followers, man. They want you to put on a blow you up vest. You know, it's the smart ones that control the other ones, man. That they control the pawns in the game. Remember, this is chess. It's not checkers. The Persians created chess. The West created checkers. There's 3 more generations coming here. This is just, 9/11 was just the beginning, man. You want to tear down this country. There's nowhere else to go. I'm telling you. Where are you going to go to? Venezuela? You can't go to Venezuela? The narco state? Venezuela's a narco state with Maduro. Who was there before him? Chavez used to beef with Bush. You're going to go to Bolivia? Man, you're not going to, as an American, what? You see all these like passport bros that go to Colombia? Man, that's not a new thing, man. That's been going on since like the 80s, the 70s, 80s, even since Vietnam. Man, Americans are they're suckers, man. Americans are suckers for like them women, man. And the women know that. They've always known that stuff. If you're American, you go down there, they know you got money. They think you got money. They think it. It doesn't mean that their mentality is not like leftist. They're just, you're gonna get played, man. You're gonna get robbed and played, and like, just don't be a sucker, man. Man, I'm just telling you, you go down there as a tourist and stuff, thinking like you're gonna find love, and you tripping. But oh man, there's just so much stuff to talk about, man. It's been going on for years. They call them mosquitas muertas. Those are the women that like, I don't even know what the word is. Engrupir is like a word for like, I gotta look that up in the dictionary. It's a Spanish word. It's a Chilean word. It's like they click you in. They manipulate you. Like, yeah. They get you. They get a lot of special forces guys. They become their special forces guy's girlfriend. Special forces brings them up here. they get married, they get the green card, then the girl divorces them. Now they're here. That's nothing new. That has been going on forever. Forever. Oh man, but okay, so there's nowhere to run, man. This is the last place that has like freedom of speech. We got the guns. You take the guns away. That's when, like, I mean, yeah, it's a double-edged sword. Having freedom is not for the weak. Freedom of speech is not for the weak. All this stuff, man. Having like a republic. But really, man, if we turn all this stuff off, everything goes back to normal. You know, but if you keep looking at the stuff and feeding your mind and stuff, that's why I say, like, read the scriptures, think about God, think about good stuff, positive stuff. We're not supposed to be thinking about negative stuff. If you're thinking about negative stuff, if you're depressed, all this stuff, I know it ain't easy, man. I've been mad depressed, panic attacks, you know, got to get my life together, get things straight, have positive, all this negative stuff, man, it ain't worth it, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. You want to become old and healthy. You want to be healthy and become old and like live your life, right? We don't want this place turning into Ukraine, Bosnia, some kind of war zone. That's what people want. People hate the United States. They hate us, man. They do hate us. There's plenty of people that hate us. The empire. That's what I heard all my life. The empire. You go down to South America and you're American. I'm Hispanic. Both my parents are immigrants. I was the only person in my family born here. All my family is overseas. But when I go overseas to go visit them, and I mingle with like the natives and everyone else, they know right away I'm American. I might look the part, but as soon as I open my mouth, my accent's a little different. My clothes are a little different. The way I move is a little different. So they know right away. And what's the first thing I've heard it all my life? Empire. You're the ones that like got rid of they thought like Allende, the socialist president, was like, he was gonna save everybody. Don't ever put, even Trump, there's only one savior, that's Jesus Christ. You can't, Trump is a man, Allende was a man, Pinochet was a man, I'm a man. Don't listen to me. You know, you gotta be strong-minded up here, read the scriptures. There's nothing free in this world except the salvation of Jesus Christ. It's the truth. Nothing is free. You're not going to get anything for free. You're not going to go get all this stuff from the government for free. It's got to come from somewhere. It's coming from the people that pay taxes. So it's got to come from somewhere. That's why nothing is free. What else can I say on this video? I mean, that was the video about, you know, left wing, right wing, the revolution, communism versus like capitalism, Islam versus Christianity. You know, in like 25 years, by the year 2040, people are gonna start having sex with robots and stuff, right? We're not gonna be even human anymore. What is this whole agenda all about? They've already created this artificial womb, right? And this gene splicing. So in the future, the rich people are going to be able to, man, if this camera falls down, I'll be pissed. In the future, the rich people are going to be able to genetically manufacture their children. So whatever changes happen in the climate around the world, whatever's going on, they're going to be able to change them to be able to survive whatever's going to come. And who's going to die off? Real people are going to die off. I tell you, the devil's working overtime. And all that gene splicing and stuff, I mean, playing God now, you know, not only the rich people, the people that are going to have money, going to be able to survive, to be able to have certain traits for their children, the intelligence or whatever it is that's going to be able to, if things get hotter, say climate control, say climate change is real, well, electricity is not going to go out of style. Air conditioning is not going to go out of style because people get to like live underground. You're going to have to pump AC and electricity underground. There's jobs. One thing that Obama never talked about jobs. He never talked about jobs. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. No, we didn't. That's why a lot of people like Trump. We wanted jobs and jobs and jobs. People wanted better jobs. Where I live, it's all retail jobs, like fast food jobs. Like the jobs here suck in this town. Shitty retail jobs and like restaurants. That's all it is. Couple of factory jobs. Couple of like, it's hard to get them factory jobs because there's not enough factories. All the factory jobs went overseas. So Trump's trying to bring them back over here. You understand? Jobs, now people get laid off. People want jobs, right? You need a job. You can't just live off the government. It's not a diss to anybody. We all got to survive. You think I don't feel for people that are getting kicked off of them Section 8? Even if they're, man, I still feel bad, even if they've been abusing it. I don't like it. I'm not one of those people that are just happy about like, that just, oh yeah, you're getting kicked off because you've been abusing it. Nah, man, it ain't, man. It's sad, man. It's easy to get caught up in like leaning on other people for support, and then it making you lazy, or it does. It makes you lazy. And then so yeah, let me go back to like 2016. In the schools, you couldn't just go against like people, minorities, certain people. If they had problems, if your kids were fighting at school, oh, hold up. If your kids were fighting at school, the school wouldn't do nothing. I'm telling you, man, the school wouldn't do nothing. If it was a minority picking on your kid, wouldn't even do nothing. They would let it slide. It's like, you're not gonna expel this kid? Like back in my day, it was just, there wasn't none of that stuff. So whoever just got in a fight got expelled. It wasn't like, oh no, we can't expel him. Like, what? It's just weird, man. It's just like, this is Gen X. I'm from Gen X, man. I'm born in 77. I was born the year Elvis died, the year Star Wars came out. I mean, grew up before the internet. I was a grown adult before the internet was out, for the first time I got on the internet. I got on the internet, I was like 23. First time, it was like 2000, it was like 1999, 2000. First time I had like a Dell Tower computer. Got it for like $1,000 used from a neighbor. I had a Net 10 disc. I got online for like 48 hours. I was like, oh. It's like, wow, message boards. You could not speak out. You could not talk red pill stuff. You would get your butt kicked. It was already like that. Now these leftists are talking about, oh, the right need to stand it. Man, it was already, leftists already had it on lock back then. Because who were the gangsters? The gangsters, where I live, there's a lot of gangsters, man. Who controls the prisons? The gangsters, right? So if you really, like, so what happens in like Cuba or something, whenever they want to like silence somebody, they have all the gangsters in the prisons, they send their political opponent to the prison, and then the gangsters in the prisons take them out. That's how you silence. Then it's like, oh, well, I didn't know. Like, then they wash their hands clean of the whole thing. They set them up. But yeah, back then, like, yeah, because I remember having my, and I was left wing still back then, 2016, and my eyes were starting to open because I worked with some white people, and they were like, I was like, this is interesting. This whole thing is getting really interesting, and I know how hard it is too to like speak out when you're on the left too, because it's like it's a for real like a mind hurdle you got to get over. Like, man, maybe like maybe these people do have like a right to say something. Maybe they are justified in wanting to protect their children from Common Core math, from being bullied at school. People making threats online, and then like you can't even do nothing. You show it to the school, and they're like, whatever. They're not doing. No one does nothing about it. Then like something happens, and then like this revolving door. People getting out of jail like easy, but then like you go to jail and they throw the book at you. Like I said, like in a socialist environment, the criminals have more rights than working class citizens. And so that's the frustration. Man, it's frustrating, man. Like, man, it's frustrating, bro. And then the jobs. So I don't know. I still say cool and let things play out, man. You ain't got to do nothing right here, right now. Like, educate yourself, read a book, take some time off the internet. You ain't got to feed into all this stuff. It's just, and then my criticism of the right, too, like online on YouTube, is like they always got to talk about something, especially if you're making money off YouTube. Every little thing that pops up, they have to talk about it because they have to make videos and they have to make money because that's like their job. They don't have real jobs. Well, and I know I'm old. I'm talking about a real job, but I mean a job that's not online and a job that's not talking. Because when you talk too much and you're on here every day talking and talking and talking, you're bound to say something stupid or offend somebody, and you're online and it's recorded forever and this and that, and people clipping it and sharing it, and it's everywhere, and like you could be held accountable for the stuff you say. And I come from a time when we didn't record anything. That's why it is kind of hard for me to come on here and even talk about this stuff, because I was told not to talk about this stuff 10 years ago. The person that told me all this stuff, he fought in the Syrian civil war. He was an old special forces dude, an old white dude. And he's the one that red pilled me. At first I thought, man, he was helping me. He was a friend of my mom. He was helping me like rake leaves out the yards. It's about 2015. Maybe, I don't know, somewhere around there, 14, 15, around there. And one of the first things he said, I mean, check out what Malcolm X said. He had a rebuttal. He explained to me everything, all the stuff I'm telling you right now. Told me all this stuff 10 years ago. And basically everything he said, this is before 2016, before that election, before Donald Trump got elected. Everything he said of the playbook of how communists work and how they operate, I saw it all go down in real life, like in those years, in those beginning years. So it was like proof. And he gave me this book called Liberal Fascism. Check it out. It's got a red cover. It's got a little yellow smiley face on the front. It's called Liberal Fascism. Jonah something. He's got like a Israeli last name, a Jewish last name or something. We'll get into that later too one day. But not too much. I mean, I'm not too far into the conspiracy stuff as far as being a Christian. I don't support Zionism. And I don't think the Jews that are in Israel right now are the Jews from the Bible, the Hebrews from the Bible, because it says at the end of the Old Testament how they were enslaved to Babylon, and like so they got mixed, and that was a long time ago, like 2,000 years ago. And just now looking at the Native Americans here now, how some of the tribes have been extinct. Like, no, those are like the Ashkenazi Jews from Europe, and then they got their home place, and they got sand. They pushed out the Palestinians. Yeah. That's why I say, don't even fall for like. I mean, so I say I still support Gaza now, especially the innocent children. Any innocent children, man, you gotta support them, man. Can't be all like these. I mean, if they're being turned into like child soldiers, like that happens in Africa, South America, some places, and like in Gaza, Hezbollah. I denounce all terrorism, all terrorist groups. I don't like terrorists. I don't like cartels. I don't like gangs. I'm all about working and trying to live your life, man, in peace. And God bless the people around the world that are living, like really struggling in war zone, torn places. Yes, I forgot what I was talking about. All right, so we'll talk again later.